Hi, so we have a new Lamborghini in the town and it's called the Sian, costing over $3 million. It's one of the limited production Lamborghinis, which means only 63 are going to be made, few convertibles and few coupes. The point is, apart from those razor sharp design giving hints about the Lamborghinis from the past like the Countach and the Diablo, and that glorious 6.5 liter naturally aspirated V12 churning out over 750 horsepower, which never gets old, by the way. There are a few bits of engineering, clever bits of engineering going on in this car that is sort of unusual for a Lamborghini, and that's what actually makes this car that much different and that much more attractive from an engineer's point of view. And that's exactly what we're going to have a look at in this video now. Anyhow, I'm Fazil Ahmed and I'm watching Mitchell Drive, and so you are. You buy a Ferrari or a Porsche or a McLaren for doing something with it. Like you want to set the fastest lap time in your local track, or you want to do something or the other that is related to motorsports or racing. So that's why you buy these cars. On the other hand, you have cars like Paganis, Bugattis and Koenigseggs, which are more like car collectors' jewelry. I mean, these are more like expensive Rolexes and Richard Milles. To put that into perspective, you know what, a $20 Casio shows you the same time as these expensive watches, but you don't buy these expensive watches for checking time, right? It's a piece of jewelry. But you buy a Lamborghini because you still have that 8-year-old inside you constantly telling you to break rules, look insane from the outside, be a moron from the inside, and don't give a pig's arse about what others say. Trust me, that's the truth. That's why people buy Lamborghinis. But you know what, that doesn't mean that Lamborghinis are very bad at the racetrack. In fact, the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ holds the production car lap record at Nürburgring at 6 minutes 44.97. To put that into perspective, that is a whole 11 seconds faster than the latest track-focused, hardcore Porsche 911 GT3. That's a big deal, first of all, okay? The point to be made here is that it was never necessary for Lamborghini to advertise in such a way, because people who own Lamborghini doesn't own a Lamborghini because it can go faster around a racetrack, but because it looks sensational, it sounds sensational, and they absolutely love the fact that it attracts a huge crowd around them wherever they go. In fact, possibly many people who own Lamborghini doesn't even give a thing about racing or motorsports or any of that sort, and probably they don't even know what Nürburgring is. But Lamborghini still proved that if their customers wanted to race, their cars are ready to leave the opponents behind in dust. That's exactly what Lamborghini has done with the new Sian, except now it's in the hybrid hypercar level. The way they designed the Sian's hybrid powertrain and the sense of application of technology the Lamborghini engineers had is what has attracted me now to talk about it. So here's the thing, instead of going with the conventional lithium-ion batteries for the Lamborghini Sian's hybrid powertrain system, the Lamborghini engineers have gone with something called as supercapacitors. Alright, keeping the super prefix aside, what is a capacitor actually? A capacitor is an electric device that stores electric charge in the form of electric field. To put that into perspective, a conventional lithium-ion battery stores the electric charge in some form of chemical form inside. Both of these devices have their own advantages and disadvantages with respect to the way they store energy. For example, capacitors are really quick in absorbing and dispersing the electric charge, but they cannot store as much charge as a conventional lithium-ion battery for a given size. So now, supercapacitors are nothing but normal capacitors, but with ability to store 10 to 100 times more charge, which means they kind of bridge the gap between the capacitors and the conventional rechargeable lithium-ion batteries. But considering the application we have at our disposal, that is to be able to assist a high-performance IC engine by providing that extra boost of torque in those regions of the rev range that does not come under the peak power band or the peak torque band, all you need is an electric energy source that is quick in charging and discharging rapidly. So which sounds like a perfect definition for supercapacitor. I mean, this is what supercapacitors are extremely good at. So yes, they have used the right tool for the job. Brilliant. One other really awesome piece of engineering this car has is the use of smart materials in a really smart way. Alright, so you basically have a vent at the back of the car to let out the heat from the engine whenever required, and this is controlled by flaps that open and close by themselves. Normally, in every other supercar, if we find something like this, it means that it has some heat sensors and it's connected to some ECU, which in turn controls some motors or actuators to move the thing. But instead of all those electronics and wires messing up with themselves, this car has something known as shape memory alloy with two-way memory effect. Okay, as the name suggests, it's an alloy generally made up of nickel and titanium in sort of equal proportions. These materials or these alloys are called smart because they can remember their shape with respect to the temperature, depending upon how they are trained. So for example, a shape memory alloy with two-way memory effect, just like they have used in the Sian, can remember two shapes with respect to two temperatures. For example, if they are cold, they retain one shape, and if they are heated up, they transform into some other shape. It sounds weird, but that's how they behave. And obviously, you also have shape memory alloy with one-way memory effect. I mean, if you have something called two-way, you should also have something called the one-way. It's really simple. The thing is, in one-way memory effect, the material can remember one shape with respect to one temperature. That is, however you change the shape by squeezing or mending it when it's cold, when you heat it up to that particular temperature, they turn back to their original shape. That's really magical, but that's how they work. It's in the nature of the material itself. And there you go. That's the reason why this Lamborghini Sian is such an interesting piece of engineering, even though it's a limited production, highly expensive car, which you can rarely see on the road. So, yep, if you like this video, give it a like, and if you loved it, subscribe to the channel, and till then, see you in the next one.